Hi, everyone, and welcome back to the Creature Code podcast. We are streaming live from UPRN radio. Hang on a second. We're ready. UPRN. We are 105.3 on the Gulf Coast, 107.7 in one of my favorite places, New Orleans. Okay, so still new at this. This is my second podcast radio show. I'm so happy to be here, and I will be more eloquent with my openings as we go on, but everybody knows how absolutely passionate I am, and I get so excited with everybody, and I just, I love it. There's my cuteness aggression happening. Well, today we have the most amazing guest. Creature Code podcast is not just about animal communications and communicating with the animal creature world. This is about all of us. This is about bridging that gap between animals and humans and all the realms in between. And my guest today is one of my absolute favorite people. She is not only a gifted animal communicator, she is also an author, and she is also a paranormal investigator. So I would like everybody to welcome today June Blackburn. Hi, June.
Hi, how are you?
I'm amazing. How are you?
I'm excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you here. I think this is going to be a really, really fun show. I really think that what you have to bring to the table is so unique in your gifts. And we know every animal communicator is very different in how we work. So I would love my viewers to know a little bit about you. And please, guys, comment, let me know you're here. For my listeners out there, we have a really special thing that we're going to do at the end today. I am opening up the lines for listeners to be able to call in and ask their animal questions today. So you guys, for the first time, are going to be able to come and sit with us live, or you can call in the last half hour of our show. So I am really, really excited. So June, tell us a little bit about who you are.
Okay. My journey into animal communications actually started when I was going through a period of depression, actually. So, of course, I got a dog, right? Mental, emotional, they connect to you on that level. So
Absolutely.
he was of Newfoundland. So he was my buddy, brought me all the comfort I needed to get through the healing. But in turn, he had dilated cardiomyopathy, and he was an orthopedic nightmare. So in our house, there was so many things happening that it was insane. Like our washer would go off by itself. I would be home vacuuming. My television would turn on by itself. And we're having all these issues in the house. So I thought, well, I'm going to go see a psychic, right? Because who doesn't?
That's the first thing you think. I have to see a psychic.
Right? So I went to her, and she told me that she goes, first of all, she goes, I'm smelling gas. There's something going on, and I'm connecting it with your father. So it turns out that our gas heater had been leaking carbon monoxide. So it was my father who was bringing all these things to our awareness, like, you need to get this checked. And so trying to get our attention. So I'm like, oh, okay. So it's nothing that's going to kill me or come after me. But at the meantime, she was also starting a spiritual healing class. So of course, I'm always, well, what about the animals? What about the animals? I want to help heal the animals. So that's what drove me into taking the course and learning about spiritual healing with the animals. And from then, she told me, you're going to be an excellent animal communicator. I had no idea what that was. No idea what's an animal communicator, but it resonated so deeply with me. I'm like, yes, that's what I want to do. So here I am. I'm on
clearly the opposite of me. No, there has to be a limit somewhere.
Well, I still didn't believe, like, I didn't even know what it was, but I was like, yeah, that sounds great. That's what I want to do. So she says, good, I'm going to take you to see a horse. I said, oh, okay. I know nothing about horses. I wasn't raised around horses, like,
Mm.
you know. So she takes me to this barn and she introduces me to the owner and she says, "We're going to go have tea. You stay here with the barn in the barn with the horse." So I'm doing the usual nice horse, big horse, beautiful horse. Well, I had no clue what I was doing. So
Mhm.
when the person came out, she says to me, "Well, what did you find?" And I says, "Nothing." She goes, "Oh, come on, you might have got something. You must have got something." I'm like, "No, I really didn't get nothing." She's like, "Come on." I said, "Okay, well, she seems to be a little sore around her side there." And she goes, "Yeah, she has a cracked rib. She's a dressage horse and she's been off
Wow.
work with a cracked rib." I'm like, "Wow. Okay." So she goes, "What else you got?" I go, "Well, she's like a little bit sore here." And she goes, "Is that a new injury or past injury?" And all this whole pile of information come flooding out of me like it's old injury because she has a conditioned response, and I don't even know what was coming out of my mouth. I literally looked behind me to see where all this information was coming.
Wow. So it just kinda it happened. It just started to happen for
It
you.
just happened, yeah. So
Now,
from there,
having said that, would you say that even though it seemed like it just happened, that as you look back now, that it had been happening your whole life?
um,
Just maybe not in
mm,
awareness?
no, I don't think so. I think that was a breaking point for me.
Really? So it activated, so this whole, arena of your life or this phase of your life activated that within you?
Yes, the
Oh,
whole
wow.
it's
Okay.
almost like through my own healing journey, it awoke in this space in me.
Oh, that's incredible. Okay. All right. Sorry, and I interrupted you. I just wanted to
That's
that was a question that came to my head.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that. I mean, my family was open because my dog got ran over by a car once, and we were checking him all over. He was alive. We checked him over and everything, and he looked fine. And then he went to sit across the room from my mother in the kitchen. She says, "Go check his side right here." And she points to his left side, and I'm like, "We checked him. He's fine." She says, "Go check." So I go over and check, and he had a gash there that we never seen before.
Oh,
So it wasn't until weeks later I said, "How did you see that from across the room?" She
yeah.
goes, "There was a green light around that area."
Wow.
Wow. So
Wow.
I think my mother had gifts. She didn't know what it was at the time, but
Do you know, I really, really, really think that, um, we do inherit this from our families,
yeah.
but I truly, truly believe that we also, um, have this naturally. So, my take on it is that if we are hereditary, it is a bigger portion of our brain that is turned on to this.
Mhm.
If, let's say, it hasn't been nurtured through the generations and the lineage, we can still do this work, right? But it's going to be about strengthening that muscle, which is something that you actually help people with too.
Mhm.
Yeah, in teaching.
Yes. Yes. And, yeah, I've the same we're teaching animal communications all the time, right? And you get used to that whole pattern of teaching the same way, the same thing all the time. So this time I thought everybody's asking me to teach again. And I'm like, you know what? I'm going to sit here and break down my process. I'm going to take it right back down to that meeting that I had with that horse and the feelings and build from there on how I receive my information. And this is how I turned out that um, I do a lot of feeling. I'm in the body. I feel things. So my healing starts with feeling what the animal's feeling in my body.
Mhm.
And it's not just physical, it's emotional, it's mental, it comes in all those layers. So I'm now developing a course that's teaching it animal communication through somatic resonance. And I don't think anybody else is teaching it this way, but it's derived from me breaking down my whole process.
So, for those people who don't know what somatic resonance is, can you explain a little bit about what that is?
Yes, so you're just connecting, you're dropping into your body. So usually when we're doing telepathy, we're up in our head, we're doing a lot of mental conversation.
Mhm.
When you're doing somatic resonance, it's you're connecting through your body. So the information is coming into your body and its body awareness, right? So it
That's
also eliminates a lot of the things like, am I connected to the animal? Because you'll feel it,
yeah.
right? Yeah,
Yeah, and that's a huge shift. Like, that's really important for people to understand is when you're connecting to an animal, and I remember my teacher saying this, you'll feel it because people do doubt themselves. Like, how do I know I'm connecting? How do I know I'm connecting to a ghost? How do I know I'm connecting to human, animal, whatever? And
right.
I think you're bang on in that there is a shift, a real movement that you actually feel, and feel is always the first line,
Yeah,
right? So
yeah,
yeah, I agree with that.
yeah. So it's in staying in that feeling rather than jumping to other things and letting it come to you and unfold rather than chasing it,
Nice. I
right?
love that. I absolutely love that. So in your journey, how long have you been doing this? Like, how long has it taken you to get to this part of your process?
To breaking it all down now, like, I've been doing animal communications for about 23 years now.
Really?
Yeah,
Oh, wow. I didn't realize it was that long. That's
yeah,
amazing.
yeah.
High five, girl. Right on.
Yeah, I know,
'Cause
right?
it's not an easy path, is it?
It's
Like, it's a rewarding path, but it's not an easy path.
it's not easy at all, especially you're faced with a lot of your own emotional stuff when you're working through like, a lot of my stuff now is, helping people with animals who are crossed over, right? Actually, I helped several people with the reincarnation of their animals coming back, and two of them
Ooh.
actually wrote books about the story and the whole involvement with it. So it's really cool. But
So when you say that you've helped them reincarnate, what does that mean for you?
the reincarnation part or
Yeah,
bringing
like, how did you help them with that process of
okay,
reincarnation?
so, they're from Brazil, so she messaged me. I don't even know where she ended up getting my name or anything information, but she just says, "My animal, I wanna know if it's reincarnating." And, I've had other animals that say, I was a reincarnation, what have you. This
Mm.
one showed me a revolving door. It's like, I'm coming back right away. We got to do another step up. And she was a veterinarian over there. So
Oh, wow.
she was helping people with their animals. And then I'm like, she's got this spiritual mission she's got to do. And now she is an animal communicator and she's quit her veterinary business.
Wow, that's rewarding.
Yeah, so she kept messaging me like, "When is she coming back? What am I looking for? Where am I gonna find her?" I said, there's gonna be something." I think it was yellow near her. She's gonna have something wrong with her jaw, that there's gonna be a problem there. She's gonna look like her same, but she's a little different. So I walked her through the steps of everything, and I gave her timelines of when this is happening. So and then she's come back and she's helped her on a more spiritual path. And that's what I find when I'm doing animal communications and it's reincarnation related, it's usually because the connection they already have is going to take everything to a different level.
Right, and that makes complete sense. I love reincarnation work too, just simply because I know for most of us, we adore our animals. They're our family, and we just don't feel like we have enough time with them, right? And I think that's important for people to know that, animals, there is such a thing as cross species reincarnation,
Mhm.
reincarnation. So I love that. But before we get into the cross species incarnation, what would you tell somebody who comes to you and says, I really, is my animal going to reincarnate for me or to me? And you know that it's time for them to move on. How do you usually address that with a client?
Like if their animal's not coming back,
Yeah.
I would just say you're not going to be reunited here. You'll be reunited again when you cross over. Yeah.
Yeah. I remember putting out this post and it did exceptionally well. And this post on Instagram was really cool because it was the idea that, and this is what I've learned in my experiences, is that animals who are not reincarnating, you've just done such a great job that you've up leveled them to the point where now it's time for them to do something new, right? Move on to their
Mhm.
next life. So you should actually be really proud of them. Yeah, okay, it is sad. Yes, okay, we're going to miss them. But look at the wonderful gift that you've given that particular animal.
That's what they share with me too. Like I do a lot of readings for animals that have crossed over. And
Mhm.
one of the things they're saying is like, we felt your love in the touch, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And they share moments like that help the person know that, and help their soul evolve too. Because I believe animal souls evolve on the other side as well, right? So it's helping their soul evolve as well as the person's soul.
So when you talk about the soul evolving, you mean learning what they need to learn for
Yes.
when they come back.
They
Okay.
have lessons that they want to learn to evolve as well as we do, right?
Yeah.
That's why we come here.
So what about cross species reincarnation? How do you feel about that?
I I believe, again, one of my Brazilian clients, they told me that it was a dog and they wanted to know if it was coming back. I said, it's coming back, but it's going to be a horse. So it's not going to be coming back to you.
Right.
Right? It
Right.
has other missions elsewhere. And they said, well, will we get to see it? And the horse, well, the dog horse soul told me, yes, you'll get to see me again. So they messaged me, I think it was a year and a half later, and they said there was a horse that showed up. There's no horses in their area, no horses on no farms, nothing, just open fields around. And what shows up with this horse at their window, just long enough for them to see it, and then it left.
Right? Right? Now, okay, so I had a dog who lived with this woman and passed away, and she wanted to know if her dog was coming back. And I remember saying, "Yeah, but I don't know why this is really resonating with me, but I keep seeing a snake." And she started laughing. And I said, "Why are you laughing? Because all I keep hearing is that I want to be one of them. I want to be one of them. She gives them so much love. I want to be one of them." And I said, "I don't mean to offend. You loved your dog, obviously." And she's laughing. She goes, "No." She goes, "It makes absolute sense." And I said, "Why?" And she goes, "Because I have 6 snakes, and this is what I'm starting to move into is more reptile work." And I'm like, "Oh my God, that makes." I love those little validations.
Yeah, you can't make this stuff up.
No, you can't. No, you cannot. That's the greatest part of it. Okay, I have a question from one of our readers. Um, let's see. It says, "Do they come back and visit after passing? I believe my Lilykins has."
100% they do. 100% they do. And usually you'll feel like warmth, cool areas on your face or your body where they used to stay. Sometimes they do noises, sounds. But yeah, things that were familiar to you, that's usually how they come back.
Now, this is something interesting too, because a lot of people go, "Well, if they've reincarnated, how can they come back and visit?" And so, what's your take on that? And then I'll give you my take on that.
Because the soul that was them is still connected to the higher self.
That's right. Yep.
Yes.
I agree with that. So I actually had that experience. We had a cat who had reincarnated, and he was a little black cat. He had died tragically. And I remember I was asleep. I woke up and, the reincarnation of my cat. So Sebastian, Yoshi, there was Yoshi who had passed away and Sebastian. So Yoshi was on the bed. I sat up and I'm looking at this cat and going, "Oh, hey, Sebastian, how are you?" And then I turned around at the door and there's Sebastian and
Mm.
Yoshi disappears. And I'm like, "Wait, whoa." Right. That was one of my first realizations that even a reincarnated soul can come back, even if it's been reincarnated. Right.
Yeah.
Because I believe, like a lot of people say to me, "Who are you to work with Archangel Michael?" Well, I'm like, he's an angel. He can be anywhere, anytime, any place, limitlessly. And we're made in the shape of divinity. Therefore, we are similar. So I can be here. I can be in another lifetime. I can go and visit 10,000 years in the past and in the future. And some people think I'm crazy for thinking about that. No, I wear crazy as a badge. Thank you very much. Right. So, but I love that. That's a great question. Thank you very much. And you guys will see me. If you're watching this, you guys are going to see me putting my glasses on because I'm having a really hard time today. Chicka, 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 choo. Let's see. Tears. Thank you. I felt that. And then let's see. Heidi says, she says, "I say my cat, I have now reincarnated from a cat lady named Gladys, who had so many cats that she had ideas on how to be one. So she came back as my orange big guy, Paws Malone."
Oh,
Okay, so what about animal to human reincarnation? What do you think of that?
I believe it's possible. I believe it depends on what your lesson is, what you want to learn in your evolution. That's what I believe. It's all about the soul and the experience it wants to have.
I agree with that 100%. I really truly believe too that when somebody reincarnates from an animal form, there's a sensitivity and an energy they have that's different than somebody who is reincarnated as human all along,
Yeah.
right? And I find that those people, I can pin them. Like as soon as I walk in the door, I'm like, whoa, that's beyond human. Like there's something animal in there. There's an animal there that's
Rawr.
more than, yeah, exactly, more than, that's so funny because I was thinking cat too. That's more than just a spirit animal, right? Because that's one of my gifts, is being able to see those spirit animals. But you can too, can you not? Do you not see spirit animals within humans?
I feel them.
Okay.
And
Okay,
then I
that's
see
fair.
them. Yeah. So
But feel is a form of see.
yeah.
Right. And that's kind of what I teach. I always teach that it's not just about the eyes, because everybody wants to see the ghost on the street. Right.
Yeah.
But the thing is we are seeing with our feels.
Yes.
We are seeing with
Exactly.
that psychic,
Yeah.
clear audience and the clairsentience. All of those feels are actually the way, or all those senses are the way to see, just not with our eyes.
Right.
Right.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of, that's the way that's my take on it. And I always say that because I know every single psychic, witch, healer, animal communicator, all of us see on different vibrations.
Yes.
Right. We're all different vibes, which is one of the reasons I love working with other communicators, because where I can see something, you might be like, I'm very, physical, emotional. You might be emotional, mental. So you'll be able to see different things that make a fuller picture of the client or the person in front of me.
Right. Yeah. I
Right.
agree
And I think out of all the communicators I've ever worked with, I find you the most interesting and just so filled with beauty and integrity and segueing nicely into my next question, healing. Right. Tell me about your healing work.
So I do a lot of, well, spiritual healing, right? But it evolves into, we're doing like bringing back pieces of trauma, helping release trauma, that sort of thing. So it's
And
all
in animals, right? In
in
animals.
animals.
Yeah.
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 I don't do people.
Just for our listeners out there, for our podcast people, just so we're aware that we're talking about animals trauma.
Animals. Yeah. So if you've had animals that are shut down or abused, it's usually sometimes some trauma they've experienced, right, which prevents them from moving forward. So you can go in and help clear that energy out for them and shift that so they can move forward. Sometimes it's they lose a piece of themselves, like, so you're helping to bring back that energy, that space that they lost.
Yeah. And that's a really important aspect of our work that people I don't think quite understand, is that animals, as much as humans, need healing, right? A lot of animals do go through trauma even before they get to us, or maybe an older animal. What is for you? Well, actually, before I say that, somebody had a nice question here. Yeah, okay. So Debbie has a question about one of her ferrets, but we're going to take that at the end, because the last half hour we do Ask Angel, and we're very privileged today to have you because we're going to do that together.
Yeah.
So the question what were we talking about? Darn, I've lost my train of thought.
Energy healing.
Right. We were talking about energy healing, and we were talking about working with animals and their, oh yes, I remember now. Thank you very much. For the listeners out there, when I say thank you, I am talking to my guides and guardians and angels and archangels, because I always talk to my posse and my team. What is the most memorable, I have two questions there. What is the most memorable healing session or healing experience you've ever had with an animal?
With the animal?
Yeah.
Mm.
Okay, we're even with an animal family. Your
Uh,
choice.
Most of the healing that I do now is through like communications with afterlife. So bringing that healing to the family.
Mhm.
But at the same time, it's there was one where you actually had to help the animal cross.
Mm.
Um, And that sounds weird, but it's almost like the people were holding the animal, so it was a whole thing of, I had to hold the space for the animal so that they could cross.
Yeah. So the family could be at peace enough for them to cross. See,
Yeah.
I've had many situations in which it's the animal that doesn't necessarily want to leave because they want to make sure that the owner is okay,
Yes.
right? That their person is okay.
I find a lot of cats are like that too, like, they won't leave until and I says, "Have you told them that you're gonna be okay?" And they
Mhm.
said, "No." Well, within an hour of this one particular person telling the cat was able to leave.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
And sometimes that's all they need is the
yeah,
permission.
yeah.
Right? It's so simple, and we don't quite realize that. When a person crosses over, one of the questions I always get is, if I cross over, if someone I love crosses over, will my animals be there to greet me, at my rainbow bridge? How do you feel about that?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I agree with that. I know people who actually, they talk about the whole idea of when you're crossing over, you see family members, you talk to your brother, your husband, your grandmother, grandfather, et cetera, et cetera. I've actually had people where because I do a lot of transition work with humans and animals. And so I've been in the presence of people who are crossing over and they're talking to their animals. And I remember this one woman, she was kind of in and out, and we were talking just for a moment, and I said to her, I said, why are you choosing? Why is your cat here? Like, why are you choosing your cat? And she was, I didn't choose my cat, but I liked my cat more than anybody else. And
Mhm,
I'm like, go girl, you
yeah.
go girl. Right. And I think that's a really pleasant thing. And I think people, and I want to get your thoughts on this. When an animal is crossing over, I find that there are other animals and people who come to help them cross. How do you feel about that?
Yep, I have that experience too.
Yeah.
There's all they never go alone, there's always an animal or a person, um, and then sometimes if there's no people or animals there, I always have some higher level energy coming in to take them.
Yeah, and I think I've seen that too, and it's funny that you said higher level energies because I was gonna ask you, have you ever seen anything that is outside a human ghost or an animal ghost spirit coming to get an animal? Because I have.
Yes.
I have. I've had that experience where we had one dog who was leaving and the two siblings were there because I always encourage people to bring the siblings along when this is happening. And it wasn't for the two siblings, I would have thought I was crazy because they saw what I saw. And we saw Anubis, the god of the dogs. And
Right.
I thought, am I going like really? Am I going crazy? If it wasn't for those two dogs, I probably would have gone and had at least 3 or 4 tequilas that night.
Yeah,
Like, So, have you ever had experiences that were like that?
that were woo-woo, like
Yeah.
the
Thank
crossing
you.
or
Woo-woo. Thank you. I'm woo-woo now? Is that what you just called me?
I'm woo-woo too,
You
so
just called me woo-woo?
I'm
That's
woo-woo.
it. You're banned from my show. No, I'm joking.
No, 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 I'm woo-woo too, but, um, I had, a cat, again. Remember I told you I couldn't figure out what it was, but it took me to this temple,
Mm.
remember? And you
Mhm.
past that temple, and it showed me this whole other realm, this whole other, like
Right.
yeah, so that was one of my
Yeah, I've seen that too. I actually have found that Bastet will take certain cats and she will take them to their temple for whatever reason. Maybe that's their full ascension, their 9 lives, right? After the 9 lives, Bast will come and get them or whatever the case might be. So yeah, I totally, that's funny because I don't think you and I've ever talked about that. And what's really interesting is I've seen that exact same thing.
yeah,
Yeah,
really?
I've seen that exact same thing. So I think that's really cool. Um, Is there anything that you would like to add to this portion or phase of our discussion today? I'll open it up to you.
Um,
If not, we'll continue.
no, I think I
Yeah, you're just so full of knowledge. I just wanna, like, pick your brain and everything.
Just so much, and I'm like, and I'm zigging, zagging all over because there's just so much I wanna say,
I
like,
know, right? And we only have and it's so silly because it's like, okay, you know what? Maybe an hour and a half is too long for a show. But no, you know what? It's not. It's almost not enough time for all the knowledge that we gain in the, 25, 30, 40 years that we're doing this kind of work. You want to cram it all in because we're so passionate about what we do. Now, you are also an author,
I am
correct?
an author, yes.
You are an author. Tell us about your books and describe them because we are again
Intuitive animal communication, how you can listen to animals.
is that like a step-by-step guide?
It goes through my journey and then it goes through my process so people can go, and it goes in through like healing and doing like, I used to break it down to go through all the chakras and, and I had basically just developed an understanding working with my guides and my team on how to do this, right? Because you were left, there's nothing around at the time we were learning about all this stuff, right? So
That's right.
so it's just a case of this was my process, that was my journey. So I just
Love
shared so other people can learn how to do it from there. And then of course losing your heart companion, healing through the tears of pet loss. That
beautiful.
That
Beautiful.
was dear to me because it means so much to me that people trust me with their animals that are crossed because that's such a pivotal time.
Really, right? It's
Yeah.
an honor and it's a privilege to
Mhm.
be a part of that particular journey, you
Yeah.
know?
I
Um,
I was on a paranormal hunt. I'm a paranormal investigator with Spirit Hunters Ontario, and we do
shout
yeah,
out, Spirit Hunters Ontario, we love you.
and we were doing the Cottonwood on Saturday, and I was doing the Ouija board,
Mhm.
and someone came back, and the Ouija wasn't moving, and I could see this cat sitting on her shoulder from the time she walked in, and so we're talking, and I says, "There's a cat that's been sitting with you." Well, she just had an emotional outbreak because that was her soul cat, and so
Mhm.
she was happy to know. So even like when you're doing paranormal investigations, like you said, the animals still come through, they still show up, right?
Yeah. Yep, absolutely. Before we get into the paranormal, because that was segueing very nicely into that, one of my favorite people has a question for you. Hi, Angel. Has June ever experienced healing an animal who's lost their owner?
Yes.
What's that like?
Um, once you explain, I usually show the separation of soul and body, so they understand what happened because a lot of time they're not with the owner during the process.
Mhm.
And so I explain to them the separation of the two. And
Yeah,
then I tell them that they're going to be okay. The person that they've crossed, they're going to be okay. And then I work with them. I send them some healing energy and they can come around from that. Not
that's
instantaneous, but it has to absorb through the layers. But they do get that level of understanding once you show them. I feel that's so important to show them the body is gone, the
yes.
soul is gone, right? The separation.
I actually had a cat who passed
Mm.
away. My cat, my animal, who passed away, and I brought her home to do ceremony. So when my animals die, I will do ceremony over them with oils and herbs and all kinds of stuff. And we do some ceremony. I decided to bring it home because I had three other cats to witness. And so I brought her home, and I remember feeling like that was so important because exactly that they needed to know that the body was there, but the spirit had been released,
Mhm.
right? And the one cat, Sebastian, again, Sebastian, he kind of went over and sniffed and then he growled a little bit. And I'm like, Sebastian, she's right here. And it's almost like he's like, I know, I see her. Like I see her there and I see her here. So I wonder sometimes when their animals lose their humans that they don't see that as well. Here's the body and here's the soul,
Yeah,
right? And they're seeing this transition happen when they witness. Do you know what I mean?
I do because on a physical level, they're still attached to the body, but on
Right.
the spiritual level, they can still sense the soul, right?
Ab-
So I think that they have an easier time adjusting that though, because they're used to being between the two worlds, right?
Yes, I agree with that. I
Yeah.
agree with that. Okay, so let's talk about not that this isn't fun, but some fun stuff. Let's talk about paranormal adventures. Let's talk about being paranormal
Mm.
investigators. Because I think this is exceptionally important because with UPRN, the United Paranormal Radio Network, who I absolutely adore and love and can't say enough about, they are a lot of people who listen to this, whether it's live or in replay, are paranormal investigators, are in this world as ghost hunters. And what's really interesting is I'm finding that one of my callings now is to really share with people and teach them about how to utilize animal energies and what it's like to work with animals on paranormal investigations. I'm gonna open it up to you. What's that like for you?
I usually do it for house clearings. I
Mhm.
call on the animals when I place an animal, ask which animal wants to come and be the guardian of the place when I'm doing the clearing of the house.
Yeah.
So that's not really paranormal, but I guess it is when people call you in to do a.
Yeah, it's an aspect of it. Have you been on a paranormal investigation where animals have presented themselves?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So what do you do with that? Like run me through what that experience was.
Uh, well, for me, it was horses. It was horses.
Nice.
So it was just that they just show their presence. I don't think they're asking for anything. They're not asking to cross. They're just wanting to be recognized.
Mhm.
You know, they'll walk you through your story. And a lot of times I find it was like a traumatic death. So it wasn't really like a planned crossing, or like a euthanasia or something like illness. It was something else that happened traumatic that leaves that, I don't know if it's the impression or the animal, but that signature there that needs to be cleared out.
Yeah. Yeah. Very interesting you should say that, because last night I was privileged enough to work with Hauntingly Krista and Paranormal XP. And we went to a train station, Canada Southern Railway, and it's in London, Ontario. And three of us were privy to the story of a tragic death of an elephant that had been brought through there. P.T. Barnum and Bailey Circus had come through.
Mhm.
And unfortunately, the elephant who was with them, Jumbo, was hit by a locomotive while being brought back to his car cell, him and another littler elephant. And so Little Elephant survived. And so we were doing an Estes session. And for those of you who don't know what that is, it's when you have headphones, it's sound clearing headphones, canceling, that's the word, sound canceling headphones. And you are holding a spirit box. So the only thing that the person with the headphones can hear is the spirit box. And then you have another person asking questions. And so I was asked to lead this and I was asking questions. We didn't think this animal was going to come through, and the animal came through. And she had no idea of this story. So she was really confused as she's hearing all these words from the spirit. And she heard the word elephant. She gave us the letter J. At one point she goes, 11:30. And I turned and I said, Krista, look at your watch. It's 11:30. And it was 11:30 on the nose. She gave us details of the event. And this was the thing that I found interesting that I wanted to ask you about.
You're
I
giving me
said, sorry?
I'm getting goosebumps as you're talking.
It was unreal. This is one of the most unreal experiences I'd ever had. I've never had anything happen like this. And so I said to the elephant, I said, listen, honey, I said, I'm an animal communicator. So when you give me a word, because I know it's hard to cross from here to there, I can see the rest of the story. So just you give me the words, you give me what you can. And I got the word lead. And as soon as I heard the word lead, I saw the railway tracks and I saw the trainer trying to bring them down the railway tracks to bring them to their car. And that's when the accident happened. Right. And then I asked, I said, was this an accident? Was this on purpose? And we got accident. And then we went and researched it later. And everything that I had seen from that one word was documented fact. And
Mhm.
I thought, wow, this is unreal. Have you ever had those circumstances where you will get something that's so disconnected from anything else, but you see because of that, like it's a door opening?
Yes, yes, definitely. All you need is that little opening, and then the story unfolds, right?
Yeah, and I think that's really cool. Have you ever had a paranormal investigation where an animal has assisted you or that you've worked with an animal to on location?
Um, yes. Like, you mean in physical animal with me?
Yeah,
Because I
physical
always
or
wanna do an investigation and take my dogs.
yeah, physical or spirit. Yeah, and your dogs are so sensitive too. They're so beautiful.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, physical or in spirit. Have you ever had an animal assist you in location?
Yes, I was called in to do a clearing once in a building that was, like a retail space,
Mhm.
and the energy there was very heavy and a lot had happened there. It was not a good space. So I actually was actually a groomer. So, actually, one of the dogs come through.
Oh, wait, so it was a groomer's space that you were in on
Yes,
location. Oh, how wow, okay, go
yeah.
on.
So I went in with, a friend of mine, and we did the clearing, and it was actually a dog that was in the space. That was causing disturbances for all the other dogs that were coming in because he was still there, right?
And
So,
why was he still there? Did you find out the story?
it was a trauma.
Oh, poor guy.
Yes, yes. I find that's mostly the case. If it's trauma, they don't leave, right?
Well, I find too
Sometimes.
that like prisoners. Prisoners sometimes, even though they've passed, they will haunt the jail that they were in, even if they've been freed. So
Mhm.
if you have a lifer, right, and they die an old man, they leave an old man, they die like 3 years later, 4 years later, they'll actually haunt the prison because that's their safe space. It's all they knew for most of their lives.
Yeah,
And so I find with animals, especially ones with trauma, if they ever had a safe space, they'll go back to that safe space,
mhm.
right? And that's where the haunting will take place,
Yeah.
right? And I know for myself, I've actually had animals who've actually assisted me in paranormal investigations. I don't think have you and I ever actually done a paranormal investigation to get like a proper one?
No.
Oh, we so got to do
I
that.
know.
We so got to do that because honestly, I can't even imagine. I would have loved to have had you there last night at the railway station because that was an unbelievable experience. I think you would have really, really loved it. So have you, speaking of last night, you did say that you used a Ouija board earlier. I don't remember in what respect, but have you ever used a Ouija board to contact animals or used a tool or a piece of equipment to contact animals?
Well, that's what I was saying, like, that's why the Ouija board wasn't moving because this lady needed to connect with her dog, right? 'Cause that's what I was getting, right?
Right.
So but to actually use it to connect with the animals, I have not used it just because I feel that would slow down my process, you know?
Oh, yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
And I probably already got the download of information by the time they've got circled over to an A, you know?
Well, yeah, it's so funny because the Ouija boards are so much a part of my work now. It's incredible. Like I have Ouija board keychains just in case I need to work kind of deal. So
Don't you find the information, like, downloads quicker than trying to use that for
it depends on the situation and it depends on the board I'm using. I have access to a haunted board, and through that haunted board, because it sings and it swings so fast, I actually get the information far more quickly. Again, it just depends on the animal, it depends on the situation, it depends on so very much. But yeah, I have used Ouija boards to connect with, and even spirit boxes. I actually was on stage and I said to the audience, I said, I've been doing this for what, 3, 4 years now, and I've never had an animal come through. And all of a sudden we heard a pack of dogs.
was that the night in
Were you there at Factory? Was that the Factory Theater? Were you there for that?
no, oh, I thought it was Dover, because I think an animal came through in Dover as well.
Yes, that's right, because you did that show with me. That's right. We did have an animal come through the spirit box in Dover as well, in
Yeah.
Port Dover. And we had the first time it ever happened was Factory. Yeah, after that gate opened, the spirit box keeps bringing animals through.
Oh,
Now that gate is open. So that was a phenomenal experience. Yeah. How did you feel about that when the spirit box actually brought through the animal? That's a great
I
question.
think it's cool. I think it's great. I I don't know, like,
Would you use a spirit box to connect with an animal?
again, I just feel that slows my process.
Oh,
Like,
yes.
as
Okay.
as far as paranormal goes, yeah, I would definitely 100% use it to try to get the evidence that,
Yeah.
you know, but if it was I was trying to connect to do some healing work to help it
Oh,
transition
no.
or whatever, no, I would use my head because it just like comes quicker that way.
Yeah, no, I'm the same way. So if I'm with clients, I'm definitely just using
Yeah,
pure energetic connection. But on paranormal investigations, I
yeah.
like to do that stuff again for the evidence. But okay, look, let's not lie. We're cool. Okay. We talk to animals and we talk to ghosts. And because we can do that, and we're using, Ouija boards or spirit boxes or even pendulums on a paranormal investigation, that just raises our cool level.
Yes.
Sorry, but it does.
I
And I'm
call
gonna
it the
say
woo woo, but you don't like that, but I think it's cool, the woo woo.
you see woo different than I do. Oh my God, that's so funny. All right, let's see if we have some statements here. Ouija board. Oh, she says Ouija board keychain. That's pretty hardcore. You have no idea. You have no idea. So downstairs in my house, every window has a Ouija board in it,
Yep.
and whether it is blooded or was made by a criminal or is haunted or was gifted or was made, and it's my thing, and we're actually finding for me a familial connection with Ouija boards that we're trying to confirm right now. So I love them. I think they're amazing. So for people who are on this path or who want to be on this path, we were saying earlier that this is a path that's not necessarily the easiest path to be on, right? Why would you say that? What would be your take on that?
Well, not everybody sees animals and respects them as animals, as souls or beings, and some don't even believe they have souls. So there's that barrier in the first place. Because animals are still like very much abused. So you have to deal with that. One of my profound moments was when I connected with an a dog. He was actually a neighbor's dog here, and, the father would come home, and I'd hear the dog crying, I'm telling my husband, like, "We need to call somebody, this isn't right," and, of course, he does the old, "Don't get involved with the neighbor's business." But it hurts your soul when you hear that, right? It gets you on a different level.
Yeah,
So I thought, okay, I'm going to connect with this dog and see what's going on. And the message I got from the dog was just because the relationship isn't what I think it should be doesn't mean it's not serving a purpose.
mm,
And that made me shift like right there from being judgmental about things. And it turned out that this fellow was an alcoholic. um, his wife left him, took his children, took the other 2 dogs, left him with the 1 dog.
mm,
So with his frustration and everything, he came home, but, he was the stability for this guy, and
yeah,
it turns out he got arrested and went to jail, but it was the dog had then went to his sister, so everything worked out,
yeah.
but the dog needed to be with that guy for that reason.
Yeah, and that transition and everything that he was going through, right?
Yeah,
But the nice thing is I think the universe is just in that the dog perhaps even ended its days with the sister or in a place that was more peaceful for them,
yeah,
because that's a lot. And that's something, we're talking about next week with Rodney Kaufman and canine corporate canine therapy, is how much animals do take on for humans,
yes,
right? What they feel their job is, even if we don't give them that job,
yeah,
they take on a job within the family, right? And I've seen that, and I'm sure you've seen that too.
100%, yeah.
You know?
Like my dog, my first dog there, the big dog he had get me through that. That was hard.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Well, it's funny because, everybody knows I have 2 snakes. And the one snake, she's my feminine empowerment. When I hold her, when I play with her, I feel like Wonder Woman. But the other one is a little ball python. And I never really had an affection towards him. But every time I hold him, it's really it's calming, it's peaceful. Right. It's a place of peace. But your 2 dogs talk to me a little bit about them and how they've worked with you in your journey.
Um,
Those 2 crazy creatures.
well, they're amazing in grace.
Amazing grace. I love that. I know.
We had Maisie first, and then actually we were driving, and I couldn't figure out what I was gonna name Grace when we were getting her. Like, we're going to call her Lexi. We're going to call her a whole bunch of things. And we were driving, and then that song came on about It's Amazing, Amazing Grace. I forget who sings it. Keith Urban, I think.
Many people. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
And it just clicked. And I'm like, there it is. There's her name, Grace. So that's how they come their Amazing Grace.
Nice.
But they help to stabilize the energy for me. So when it's a heavy, heavy reading, you'll notice they'll come over and they lay at your feet, like, you know.
Yeah. And I think that's what we were talking about earlier too. And kind of my point about it's not an easy path, right? Is the fact that we do have our days. We have those days where, like, I've had days where I've had, 3 or 4 animals pass away, and those are days where, like, what do you do? What do you do with your energy after a day like that? Like, what do you do? For those out there who are listening, who are on this path of either the animal communicator or the psychic or what have you, what do you do to help yourself stay in balance, especially after days like that?
With those, then you have to get back into the physical world, right? So I usually let's go for a walk. When we go out and be in nature, that helps to ground you faster than anything, right? Take the dogs, go for a walk. That helps me calm down. There's always chocolate. That works very well.
I'm not the only one. Woo-hoo! Yeah. Do you know that's a Harry Potter thing? Did you know that? Okay, so I love Harry Potter. I don't care if people don't love Harry Potter. I love Harry Potter. And there is one of the movies, the one with Talbot, the teacher. He was really amazing. I can't remember what his I think it was Talbot. Anyway, the point is every time Harry would have an experience with Voldemort, he'd pull out a piece of chocolate and he'd say, here, have a piece of chocolate. I was the only person in the whole theater who was laughing at that because I had that recognition, because the cocoa in the chocolate is actually healing, is actually very grounding. So yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am now officially giving people permission to eat chocolate after, well, actually, no, June is given permission.
Yes.
Chocolate after a paranormal, psychic, or healing ceremonial experience.
Anything you need to ground.
Right? Anything you need to do. For me, it's actually, I'll go to the gym. I'll go for a run. I'll grab my bike. I'll go for a run with one of my dogs. That's something you have to get back into your physical body. You really do.
100%.
There's always something. And I know I have an animal communicator who, when she's got a really bad day, she'll just put on her headphones and she'll just listen to music and just, that's her thing. She'll go for a walk. She'll listen to music, and that's what she'll do until she gets back into her balance. Everyone has their way.
I've done that too. I usually put on the tunes in the kitchen and dance around too. There's that one too. Run around.
Right? Dance like no one's watching.
Mm.
Debbie Marcos says, this is an interesting one. Yes, abuse and neglect are more and more affects me profoundly. For our animal souls, how do you not let it affect in a sickly way to your soul? Okay, so we're talking about, and that's a great question. So we're talking about how we ground that energy away, how we cleanse and we clear it. But long term, okay, long term, we're like counselors, we're like death doulas sometimes, especially working. How do you? I know for me, I have a book that I write in, and I write all the stories, and I kind of get it out that way, and that kind of every once in a while I'll go back to that book to remember them. Right. So that's my way of kind of long-term dealing with it. How do you deal with that?
I work in the body, right? So I feel it. But at the same time, I'm aware of it. I don't take it on.
Yeah.
So it's almost like I see it happening. I go through the motions of while it's happening. I feel it happening, but I'm not keeping it with me. I let it only for the session, right?
Read only. Yeah, it's a read only thing. And that's what animals do. If you really think about it, right?
Yeah.
Talking about elephants earlier, elephants, when they have a part of their tribe and herd pass away, they will feel every moment of that. But they won't carry it. They will allow it to move through them.
Yeah.
Right. They're so very present. And I think that's the biggest thing too, is being present in ourselves helps us to move forward in the work that we do.
Yeah. There's a disconnect. So it's almost like you're watching it on TV, right? So
yep. And I think I was literally just going to say that I'm Gemini. So I have this innate sense of detachment, like a doctor, right? I think we all either we assume it, we learn it, or we have it naturally to kind of go, okay, I'm working, this is my thing, and we're able to kind of put it in a box or do something with it.
And if you can find the healing aspect, like I always tried to find the healing angle for that. Like,
Yes.
what did that experience, the benefit of that experience serve? Because it serves some sort of purpose, right?
So how do you, go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, how do you deal with people? Now, this is the one I find hard. Okay,
I
because I'm
don't do people well.
okay, this is gonna be an important question then. How do you feel about the people who abuse the animals, the people who are, you know, the criminals, so to speak, like the puppy mills, like the people who do abuse their dogs. How do you deal with that?
I actually was contacted again by someone who, um, there was a dog that was living on a beach, and the community looked after the dog.
Mhm.
He lived there for years, very happy, and it's a big case that's ongoing right now. Um, and he had been abused. So 4 teenagers come, and the abuse this dog
Mm.
was put through was horrific. Like,
Mhm.
the dog was giving me all these sensations and feelings, and it was very horrific. But when you have to take that layer to go through what are those humans experiencing, you realize that there is hurt and a lack of understanding at that level, right? It
Yeah.
doesn't dismiss what they're doing. It doesn't take away from that experience, but it creates that energy where they are now confronted with being charged with this, so they have to be accountable, right? So it brings about healing because people who are normal, I don't wanna say normal, but people who, well, yeah, normal, they
Normal, yeah, normal.
don't abusing animals, they just don't. So there's something else going on deeper that
Yeah,
is about that healing, and for me, it's all about that healing, right? So that person has to have those experiences, and that dog unfortunately had that experience, but from that experience, there was a more global issue that arose.
and that's, I think, one of the reasons I just absolutely adore you, because you come from that compassionate eye, right? That's the healer's eye as far as I'm concerned. And yeah, I mean, trying to look at it from that perspective, I absolutely agree. I think for me sometimes it's so hard. It's just so hard to look at that and think, and teenagers as well. So you're looking at innocent upon innocent, right? So you're
Yeah.
looking at these teenagers going, you have your whole life ahead of you. Why would you choose this at such a young age? But then when you look at that background, yeah, you're right. It's like, okay, there's hurt there, there's pain there, right? It's like a bully at school,
Mhm. Right.
right?
On a
So it's the
different
same
level,
thing. I
different
agree.
scale, yeah.
Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to do something very unique to this show. I mean, it's only the second show. So we have a phone number. And the phone number you can call as listeners, as viewers. You can call our number and you can ask your question to either myself, June, or both of us, because you have the two of us. All right. A lot cheaper than doing a session with us. That's for sure. So take the opportunity. The number is 1-888-393-1333. And I'll put that in the comments. 1-888-393-1333. So if you want, you
Please.
can give us a ring a ding ding and we will take that call. Again, if you're on the radio, please call us. Please be patient. We do have only the one line so far. If this goes well, we'll add lines. But for now, this is what we have. 1-888-393-1333. Now, if you're viewing us right now, you're more than welcome to come and join us and sit with us live. So give me a second and I'm going to share that. I'm going to share that. Where are you? Here we go. That link. And you guys can come and sit with us. Go back. Hold on a second. I'm not really fast. That's the problem. Where am I? Comments. There we go. For everybody on the different platforms, whether it's YouTube or whether it's Facebook, you're more than welcome to come and sit in studio with us right now. So for those of you viewing, it is fun to come and sit with us in YouTube, because then you can come in the studio. But again, please, please, please feel free to give us a ring-a-ding-ding, 1-800-393-1333. Now, having said that, I don't know why I said ring-a-ding-ding. I guess that's going to be my thing now. Ring a ding ding. Let's do this thing.
Oh, I love you.
Thank you. I appreciate you. So this is the portion of our particular session where I would read one of our guests' letters to the audience, and we get letters from a lot of people. But I'm going to see who we have here with us today and see if anybody has a question for us. Does anybody have a question? Let me see. Juka Juka 2. Oh, so many. I hope answer here. Sorry, I'm just going through questions right now. Okay, so we don't have any questions at the moment. So I have a question. I'm going to be selfish today. I have a question for you. I don't know if you, I don't know if you know that. I mean, I mentioned it before, but I don't know if you know that I just adopted a brand new baby ball python. His name is, here we go. His name is Lucian Benedict Marcus Aurelius Graves, Benny for short. So if I were to open up to you and say, okay, you know what, would you please read my snake? What would Benny have to say to you? And if you don't want to, that's okay.
The first thing that comes to my mind is that song Benny and the Jets. So it's almost like he's bringing that music back to your life, right?
Yes.
He's making you like dance with him. He tells me there's a big shift for you coming as well, because he says like we're going to be dancing through this.
And that makes sense, because that's actually when so one of the reasons I think he came to me was I did a ceremony a couple of weeks before about a protection, abundance, and luck. And I didn't know at the time that ball pythons actually symbolize that. And my life has drastically been changing since Benny came into my life. So that actually makes a lot of sense for me. The question I would have for Benny is, how is he feeling right now in his skin?
Oh, he's a little bit itchy. He tells me he's a little bit itchy. Like,
okay, so he's still a little bit itchy.
Yeah. He tells me on the left side around. I don't know how to describe it, but on me it would be like on my arm. So it's on the upper body, on the left hand side specifically.
Okay,
he gives me that feeling of itchy.
Now to validate you, he actually came from a store with mites. And so we have been dealing with mites for probably a couple of months now. Haven't seen any, so that we're pretty much in the clear. But if he's itchy, he might still have, some of the repercussions of that, like when they bite you and things like that. So I'll continue to do his little medi baths.
Especially if you notice him rubbing up against stuff, like he tells me like he's going to rub up against stuff to try to soothe that. So yeah.
And how is he liking his medi baths?
He says it's like a day at the spa. He's just like
he does. He literally just hangs out there with bubbles on his nose.
Yeah, he's like, it's just like a day at the spa. That's what he's telling me. So I think
he's a very strange little creature, and I absolutely adore him. I'm still getting used to him. Okay, so we do have a question here from Jason. Hi, Jason. Okay, speaking of paranormal wonders, Jason McCrae is a paranormal wonder. He is an author that I am going to have on the show as well, although he doesn't know that yet. I was actually thinking about that just yesterday. So Jason, get ready for it. Jason asks, can you identify if my dog has any health concerns?
What dog is it?
So Jason, what kind of dog do you have? That's what
sort of visual. So
okay. For me, I'm already feeling like there's something kind of going on. It's funny you said left side. For Benny, on the left side, it feels a little heavy, but I don't feel like it's for me, it doesn't feel like a major major concern. Jason, is this a larger dog? Because I keep feeling like it might be a larger dog. If you can just give me the breed, that would be awesome, or even what it is. Let me see if I can. I wonder if I can. No, I can't. I can't. If I go away, can you still see me? Can you still see me, June?
Yeah.
Oh, you can? Okay, okay. So let's try this. Let me see. No, that didn't work. Okay. I thought maybe, oh, he's a King Charles Cavalier. Wait, aren't those small? Aren't King Charles Cavaliers small dogs?
Yeah, they're like they're smaller. They're not small. They're like a medium.
Okay, yeah, okay, good. All right. Oh, yeah, okay. Yeah, yeah, okay, that's a smallish dog. Yeah, so for me, he's got a big personality, perfect colors, but he's got a very big personality. I don't feel like he's got many health issues. I just feel like something's going on. What do you get? What do you pick up?
I feel there's something like there's definitely an allergy issue, stomach issues. Probably there's something with the food because I get the itchy as well. And I feel like the adrenal function is a little bit off because of it. I'm also being drawn to the left leg above the knee. So I would just watch the cruciates in that area.
Okay. And again, for me, I'm looking at just below the ribs. So maybe that's what I'm seeing in the stomach area, maybe in the intestinal tract, something like that. But I definitely get something going on the left side. But again, I keep getting, it's nothing that can't be handled, nothing that can't be dealt with. But definitely, and I get to vet visit is necessary. We can't diagnose, but we can definitely point you in the right direction. And he also says he really likes it when he gets his paws done. He says that he may not look like he likes it, but he actually likes it in the end because when he's walking around, it's easier on his paws, and he likes being brushed. Do you guys brush him a lot? Do you guys brush him? Because he really, really likes being brushed. He's really bringing that up hard. Okay, next question. All right, come on, bring the questions in, people. Bring the questions. We recently rescued, and this comes from Hillbilly Herb. I love that, Hillbilly Herb. Hillbilly Herb says, we recently rescued a 15-year-old gray mackerel tabby called Alice. She had shown signs of abuse when she arrived, but she's really settling in. I'm wondering if she's happy and likes her food. Okay, before we answer that, I think we're getting our first caller. Oh my God, we're getting a caller. Hi, how are you? Hi.
I'm good, thanks. How are you?
I'm good. Can you hear, June? Can you hear this?
Yeah.
Okay, wonderful. Okay, thank you for being our very first caller. What is your question today? And what's your name?
So my name is Lindsay, but you know me as Planty Quirky Blogger.
Planty Quirky Blogger! Hi! I love you. What's your question today, sweetheart? What's your question today?
Okay, so I have a million questions, honestly, but I think for simplicity's sake, I have a new foster puppy named Tony, and he's being a little bit picky with his food. I was just wondering what preferences you see that he has. Is there something in particular that he likes to change, or is there anything that I can do to help him enjoy his food a bit more?
I get, the first thing I get for this particular cat is I can't, does this cat like fish? Because I don't get that they like fish.
He's a dog.
Oh, sorry. I thought it was a cat for some reason.
No.
The dog doesn't like anything fish because there's it's almost like a strong aroma, a strong flavor, nothing with strong flavors. Does that make sense for you, June?
I feel the dog needs turkey. I feel there's something going on definitely with there's something in the body not rejecting the other food, especially anything chicken based with corn in it. I'm just like breaking out and scratching. Does the dog vomit?
Does this puppy vomit?
He did when we first brought him here. We do suspect he might have a chicken allergy, so we've pulled back on giving him anything with chicken in it.
Yeah.
He seems to be okay with lamb and beef, but it's sort of hit and miss.
Yeah. So again, I think you're safe outside of chicken. I think you're safe with anything that has a more bland flavor, because that's also part of the issue is the richness of the flavor. Yes. And I think wouldn't that cause, like, because of the richness of the flavor, it's what makes it rich?
I feel it's like a reflux with this. Yeah, that's why I asked if it was vomiting, because I felt that coming up as well.
Yeah. So it's the richness of the food, like the flavors and things like that. So anything bland outside of chicken, I think is good. And I like the idea of turkey. I've noticed with dogs, especially, that if you want to go with poultry, turkey is really good, and duck, right? Duck is actually a really good fowl as well for them. How do you feel about that?
Duck is a little higher in fat though, so it can cause a little upset as well.
Okay, that makes sense. All right, I'll go with that. So turkey and beef are good alternatives. What about how are you? Because I get liver is okay. Liver is okay.
Yeah.
So I think liver would probably work too.
Yeah.
I'm going to go with liver. Are you okay with liver, June? Because you're the health expert here. You're the healing expert.
I would probably stay away from liver personally, unless you're doing dehydrated for treats.
I was just going to say that. I was literally going, but what about treats? Because I keep getting liver flavor, and this dog wants liver flavor, likes liver. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Yeah. So at least give them, yeah. So you can't take away the liver flavor because this dog really likes that. So I would do the dehydrated treats for sure. See, this is why I like this. This is why I love this, because I'm saying liver and she's going, oh, I'd stay away from liver. Yeah, but there's an alternative and a compromise. And look, we were able to see that.
Yeah.
Right. I love that. Thank you so much for being my first caller. And you know what? Just for that, I'm going to give you a free 15-minute reading.
Ooh.
Okay. I'm going to give you a free 15-minute reading. Yeah. So you contact me, DM me, and we'll go from there. Okay, lovely? All right. We'll talk to you soon. All right. Bye. Wow. That was fun. I like that. You know, it's so funny. I've been asking this year to do more podcast appearances, and I wanted to do more radio because I used to be at News Talk 1010. And looky, tookie. Now I've got everything all at once, and I get to hang out with my friends. It's amazing. So we did have a question. Sorry. We recently rescued a 15-year-old gray mackerel tabby called Alice. She had shown signs of abuse when she arrived, but she's really settling in. I wonder if she's happy and likes her food. Okay. So I feel like she is in her glory. I feel like she's got the right environment now with the right people. I think she's always been meant to come to you. What do you feel, June?
I feel she has a sense of being safe in your home, which is helping create that healing space for her, the safety, because she's like, I'm exhaling now. Like I can finally exhale. That's the feeling I get. So she feels very safe in the home. With her food, I feel it's kind of hit and miss, but it's not really the food. It's more like an emotional thing around the food.
I love this. There's a follow-up question by Hillbilly Herb. She throws up once in a while, but could that just be hairball stuff? I'm going to go with hairball stuff. I really am, because this feels like a really good, healthy animal. She's actually just come in, and I keep feeling like she doesn't feel fat anymore. It's almost like she doesn't feel bloated. She doesn't feel this. Like sometimes when we have stress, we carry fat, and animals do too, whether we realize that or not. And I just feel like she feels so much better in her body.
Yeah.
No, I really do. So, Hillbilly Herb says, "Aw, she feels safe. Thanks." Thank you for being here. So where can people find you if they want to connect with you?
On my website?
Wherever. Where can they find you?
That's where they can find me, on my
Okay.
website.
In a second. And your website is healingpetconnections.com. Yes?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. And if they want to email you, what's your email address?
dogwhispers@hotmail.com.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being my guest today. I truly love you and I appreciate you. And I'm so blessed to have you in my life. And now you're in the lives of so many people, and you people know where to find her. So go get her book, go check out her website, and just connect with her, because she's an amazing person. So thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me. I really enjoyed our time together.
Me too. Let's do coffee.
Okay. Yes.
All right. I will talk to you very, very soon. Hi, everybody. So that was June. She is the most incredible person, one of the most incredible people that I know. Thank you for being here today. If you want to check me out, my name is Angel Morgan, and you can find me at raisingenergy.com. We are overhauling the website. So the website you see today is not going to be the website you see in next week or the week after. So much happening. Like, it's incredible. If you live in the Toronto area, I have a show show happening in Stouffville, May 9th. And there will be some animal communications. We're going to be calling in the ancestors. We have the Creature Code podcast, which happens every single Monday, 4 o'clock to 5:30 p.m. So please watch that. And if you're on Instagram, it's Instagram.com/@raisingenergy or @Angel Morgan Pet Psychic. Let's see. Hillbilly Herb says, Angel gave me an amazing advice to light a brown candle for Diana after some local wildlife loss. The connection with my local critters has since been incredible. Yes. And we, Hillbilly Herb, are definitely going to be talking a lot more about that kind of stuff as well. We are going to be talking about how to connect to your animals in different ways. So that's actually a really beautiful thing to end this show with, because, you know, Hillbilly Herb, you're just so awesome. Everybody, if you want to connect your animals more deeply, get a small brown candle. You can get them on Amazon. You can get them pretty much anywhere online. I like chime candles. Just put brown chime candles. Where can I find them? And what you do is you write on it animal connection. Just etch it with your finger, whatever. Then what you do is you light the candle, and you can either think about your own animal, right? And when you see them, have imaginary conversation with them, knowing they're not imaginary. Now, if you want to connect to a wider or broader array of animals, like say the animals of the earth, or maybe you like birds and you want to connect to birds, you see that, you ask. I ask and give permission to all those of the light. I want to connect to the bird clans, to the bird world, whatever you want to say. And then you sit quietly. And then when you start to feel a shift in your body, you will feel that shift. You know you're connected. Okay. So remember, you might not see, you might not hear. Okay. But you might not, but you will feel. And when you feel, or sometimes just even know, have that imaginary conversation, knowing that it's not imaginary. But why do this? Why do this even if you don't have a pet? Simple. Because when you connect to nature, you are throwing a pebble in the oceans of life, and you are contributing. Even if you think you're not contributing, I promise you, you are contributing. So you can also call on Diana of the forest. She will come to you. I ask and get permission to all those of the light. Diana of the forest, please come through and connect with me. Or St. Francis of Assisi, right? St. Francis of Assisi loves his innocence, loves his animals. If you love your snakes, you can call on Dambala Wedo. If you love your cats, it can be Bastet. If you love your dogs, Anubis. And there's so many, and you can go on the internet, look up who you want to connect to. It's so simple. So once you have that conversation, then you say, thank you. I release you back to where you came from, because this is like hanging up our phone, right? And then when we do that, we take our fingers, right? Or we take a snuffer and we snuff out the light. And the reason we do that is because in South America, they believe everything begins on a breath, everything ends on a breath, and everything in between, it's a breath. So we don't want to breathe it out of life. We want to make sure that it keeps moving forward. Now, when the candle gets down to its base, you take a candle of the same color, you place it on top. You don't have to etch it, but you can etch, again, animals, right? Animal connection. And you place it on top. And then you take the energy from that old candle and you bring it into the new candle. Just see it, feel it coming into the new candle. And every time you do that, you're strengthening that candle. You're strengthening that connection and your connection. Now, the other thing you can do is you can always do a private psychic development class with me and do animal communications, because I teach it one-on-one. I also teach it. I do private Zoom sessions. I have one coming up April 29th and then another one in March. April 29th is a free live reading session. So you can go to raisingenergy.com if you want to sign up for that anywhere in the world, whether you're listening or watching. Raisingenergy.com. You'll see it in my workshops or my events or something section right on the homepage. And you can sign up for it. It's absolutely free. I'm doing free readings. And also on March 11th, I'm teaching how to get into the Akashic Records. So those of you who love animals, this is a deeper way of working. For those of you who love to work with just spirits and that kind of stuff, it is a beautiful way of working. So I want to thank everyone for being here. I absolutely adore, adore, adore June, and I'm going to put her stuff back on here. If you want to connect with her, it's healingpetconnections.com or dogwhispers.com. You can also catch her on Facebook and Instagram. She is an incredible person. And again, if you want to catch me, you can catch me here every week at URPN Paranormal Radio. And we are on the Gulf Coast 105.3 and New Orleans, one of my favorite places, 107.7. Do not miss our show. We still have 5 minutes. So if you guys have any questions, please, 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 please. I would absolutely love to hear a final couple of questions. So let's see if we have anyone. Chicka, 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 choo. No, I think we're done for the day. This is wonderful. I love you guys. Thank you so, so much for being here. And I will see you guys next week, same time, same channel, 4 p.m. EST. Love you all. And I think I'm signing out.